The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Dragon Ball Arcade Chapter 1. What if Raditz raised a female Kakarot on Earth? Welcome, Deadites. I can't believe I'm finally sharing this. It's been in my head for years. But damn, y'all. Over 700 subs? That is freaking awesome. This has been, like I said, has been in my head for years. But there are a few things I have to say. To do this, I have to write Dragon Ball, not Z. I'm doing most of this from memory, so if I skip a few things, forgive me. But let's get into it. A good chunk of this is the journey to Z, but that'll be a few episodes probably. So, from the start, I'll tell you, while this is still Universe 7, however, there's going to be a big change. This is not Timeline 1, not Timeline 2, and not Timeline 3. This is a fourth timeline. If I'm correct, I think there were four. I think there were three different timelines. Two of which were still bad, even though one was way worse. But I digress. Back to the point. This timeline was caused not by Trunks, but by Bulma. Her test hit of the time machine is what caused this. Unmanned, obviously. Let's get into some of those consequences, shall we? For starters, Raditz is a lot older than Kakarot here. We're going 15 years to be precise. Instead of Raditz was 5 or 7 years older than Kakarot, but in this instance, like I said, 15. Now, when he is born with an immeasurable power level. I'll let that marinate for a second. You got it right. God Key. Once he reaches a specific age, Lord Beerus takes an interest in the boy. King Cold scoffed at why he would care about such a lowly monkey, and Whis, not Beerus, gives King Cold a stern look that could kill. While Raditz would accompany Lord Beerus as an attendant of sorts, he'd be exposed to various technologies and fighting styles. He liked both. Who says a Saiyan can't have his hands in both worlds? Of course, the time for Beerus' nap comes, but he made one thing perfectly clear to Frieza, who had just recently been given a rule of his father's empire, in lieu of Cooler. Frieza was thought to have been the far more efficient choice at the time. No harm is to come to the boy. He has plans for him when he awakens. Frieza visibly gulps and would take that to heart. He knows he's no match for Beerus, so once again he'll take it to heart. In this instance, we're not letting Raditz keep his God Key. Nope. Before he went to sleep, Whis, seal the boy. He didn't want to give Frieza any ideas. His power level hasn't changed much from canon in his sealed state. For good measure, Beerus had Whis use the Super Dragon Balls to alter everyone's memories, save of, well, you get the point, gods and angels. It wouldn't work on them. But he happens to change their memories to adapt, or more accurately, seal them. This allowed Raditz to live a somewhat decent life. Before anyone tells me I'm off by a bit, I know. This is an altered timeline. And like I said, it's timeline 4 for Universe 7. Despite his power level, he was granted elite status. His cunning and wits, along with mastery of science and technology, landed him under Nappa's guidance as both a soldier and a technician. Why have a weak mechanic when you could have someone with decent power level to fix your rig when needed, but fight as needed as well? Bardock was proud of his boy, and 5 years later, Nappa and Raditz were placed in a squad with Vegeta. He didn't like being the princess's babysitter, but the look the queen shot him could kill. Yeah, you heard me right. Vegeta's female in this. Alongside her was Turles. I don't think he needs an introduction. A few more years go by, and Raditz is now 15 and was on vacation on planet Vegeta to see his newborn sister Kakarot. He had pulled a few strings, and to do so by calling in a favor. Now, what he designed, he truly hoped no one could finish that. Period. But that is a tale for later. It got him what he needed. The ability to see his newborn sister. She's beautiful, Gine. Gine puffs her cheeks. Ratty, I told you to call me mom or mother. She pounded at Raditz's chest. It did nothing, and she knew it. He treated her more like a big sister than a mother, but I suppose that could be blamed on how young she was when she mated with his father. Remember, I aged Raditz up quite a bit, I believe, so it had to be done. I assume father is still on duty. Gine nodded, and now that he's seen his sister, Raditz heads back to work on his prototype pods. The two said pods were a stealth pod and a warp pod. Lord Frieza merely laughed when he had shown an interest in technology, but he humored the monkey and allowed him to, well, study. And this was said result. I don't think I need to tell you guys that this won't end well, right? Bardock returns with the gift he had been given and warns any who will hear his message. In short, his family. Yeah, we're going with that original part, at least. This is going to be a fusion of some old lore and some new lore, so we're going to try to balance it out that way. Now, Gine was hesitant, but Raditz drank the Kool-Aid and went to get his sister immediately. Way earlier than the two would have, actually. Raditz held on to Kakarot and explained what this pod is. Bardock tells him to go, and he leaves in the stealth pod. The warp pod wasn't exactly a success. Raditz leaves the atmosphere the exact moment Frieza's ship can be seen. I do believe Frieza waited a little bit for most Saiyans to get on the planet in the first place. I can't remember the amount of time he waited, so we'll just say he waited a few days prior to what he did. But back to the line. They were about to take aim at the pod, but don't bother. There are no life signs on that pod. The stupid monkeys probably misfired one of their pods. Besides, I've got monkeys to kill. A few days later, the giant death ball can be seen, and every Saiyan capable tries to block it. Gine laid eyes on the pod that her son had deemed a failure, entered it, and pressed a button after putting the coordinates for Earth. Space around the pod folded, and like that, Gine had escaped the wrath of Frieza. Her destination was Earth, but time-wise, you won't be seeing her until Z. Like I said, Frieza waited a few days. I'm gonna say that they took a little while to find. They just searched for, well, Earth's based off of coordinates, but we'll get to why, I believe. You all know why, but we'll get there in the story. Time goes by and they land rather close to Gohan's home. Old man Gohan goes to check out the disturbance and is greeted with the sight of the pod in a massive crater, followed by a rather large tailed man in armor and a crying baby, also in armor. Gohan made it clear that he wasn't a threat. Raditz still has his scouter, but he made a point of disabling any means of communication or surveillance from it during his trip. So, recording? Yeah, no. Communication? No. Tracking? No. But this sucker can still read power levels, and that's what he's using it for. Huh. He's not much of a threat, but nice power level for an Earther at least. This specific Raditz has been under Nappa's order, so no time for cowardice, and as such has had many a Zenkai. So I'm gonna put him at a minimum of 2,000 power level. Now, if this was just a fight of brute force, Grandpa Gohan would be dead and no questions asked. But remember, technique can often beat out brute force, and that he has in spades. But once again, it won't be necessary because this Raditz takes no joy in killing the weak, and has been forced to do so far too many times. He just wants a moment to get his mind right and raise his sis. No. If he's gonna raise her, he's gonna frickin' raise her. Excuse me, Mr. Spaceman, but who are you? Raditz took a deep breath after checking his power level, which, like once again, wasn't bad for a human. Bardock may have been an oaf that only swung his fist, but he was not a complete and total idiot, and picked up a few things from his son. They took a small amount of time, I'm going to say a few hours, to research for a planet to escape to. They almost went to Namek, but instead chose Earth for its relatively weak population. Should they need to conquer the planet, it shall help. Oh no. Old man, I cannot allow my daughter to look at the moon. I'll explain later, but help is needed. Gohan thinks fast and hands Raditz the cloth to wrap her eyes and a pair of sunglasses for Raditz. Now, this baby, once again, is in armor, so she's not naked. Gohan offers Raditz room and board and accepts. I'm a Saiyan from planet Vegeta. And this is my daughter, Kakarot. Our kind were conquerors of worlds. We possess the innate ability to transform into great apes in the presence of the moon, which multiplies our power levels by 10. Such an ability was used to terraform planets and then sell them at a price. Do not be alarmed. That is not my intention here. Raditz told Gohan the entire story. Gohan extended his offer indefinitely and Raditz took him up on it. Raditz took well to the styles of Gohan and found them far more adequate than his brawling styles. A few years go by, and young Kakarot takes a liking to the power pole, to which Gohan gifts. But not long after, his health takes a turn for the worst. He experienced agonizing pain and finally died of a heart attack. Yes, I went there. Now, here comes yet another change in the timeline. Bulma's search for the Dragon Balls happens a whole lot earlier, and she's also a whole lot older. She's exactly Raditz's age for this. By the time Kakarot is 5, and thus Raditz is 20, the blue-haired bombshell we know and love arrives on their doorstep. Now to be clear, Raditz is doing more than martial arts. He's been to the city with Kakarot by his side and has scrounged scrapyards to make various forms of technology. Nothing alien level, just stuff to tinker with to help keep his mind busy and also to, well, you'll find out. He also made a point of teaching Kakarot how to read and buying her book. I'm going to say that Gohan taught Raditz the basic written language at his request, so he knows how to do that much at least. Raditz wasn't going to have his daughter be some muscle-bound oaf. The fact that Kakarot is not his biological daughter but his sister was far in his mind by this point. He had entered full-on ratty mode. I am not sorry for that pun. Bulma had hoped that her radar wasn't on the fritz. What's a supposed magical ball doing in the middle of nowhere in the mountains? That's when she noticed a house, and the radar was blipping that way. The thought to just barge in entered her mind for not even a nanosecond. Then a certain fairy tale rang in her head. She wasn't that stupid, so she knocked. Damn it, Kakarot! Stop running like that! You just got out of the bath! Catch me if you can, Daddy! A naked little girl ran out the door and into Bulma. Gotcha, little lady. Oh, a visitor. Haven't had one of those in a while. Sorry about the appearances and all that. Raditz manages to dress Kakarot completely in a, well, makeshift dress, since it was the easiest thing to get on her. Now, Raditz is wearing shorts at the moment, and only the shorts. So, Bulma's eyes? She's getting a good look at the goods there. Abs, pecs, rippling muscles. He's slightly dripping just a little bit. Got that fresh out of the bath look. She is practically drooling, and Raditz notices this. My eyes are up here, miss. That knocked her out of it. Bulma Briefs. Ah. Well, hello, Miss Briefs. My name is Raditz, and this ball of energy is my daughter, Kakarot. Come join us for dinner. And hold up a minute. Briefs? As in the one and only Capsule Corp? Huh. Cool. Cool? Cool was all this man had to say. Huh. Odd. The spread was rice and various other vegetables, along with fish and dino meat. Raditz knew a balanced breakfast was important, so he read up on agriculture on his many trips to the city. Hi, lady. What are you doing here anyway? She may be 4, but she's a smart cookie thanks to her different upbringing. Bulma mentions the Dragon Balls and her desire for a wish, but after seeing Raditz's home lab and fathering capabilities, she's changed her mind and starting to target Raditz. I don't need to wish for a man. There's one right here. Cute and a tech head. I'm in heaven. Raditz showed Bulma the 4-star ball, and another difference between canon is that he was aware of the legend. Old Man Gohan had told it to him. I planned on searching for them when Kaka was older. If you don't mind waiting, I'll take care of you. Raditz had thought about wishing his father and mother back to life, but thought against it. Kine might try to take Kaka from him, or at the very least be judging his fathering methods, and he didn't know how Bardock would react to Earth. Then the thought of Old Man Gohan came to mind. We all know that is utterly impossible. Even if the Dragon Balls are powered up, it still cannot be done, with Shenron at least. But he does not know that. Bulma convinces Raditz to live with her as a Capsule Corp employee. He's clearly got the stuff if he was able to make all of this equipment from scrap, and it looks damn near perfect. Raditz bent down to Kaka's level. Or rather, Kaka's level. Well, sweetie, what do you say? Want to move to the big city? That action made it clear that if she said no, Raditz would honor the choice, but possibly still work for her. So, there was that. Bulma was sadly staring at the floor. Let's say that this is Kaka's first moment of female intuition.
So this woman likes my daddy, huh?
Okay, Daddy. But can we come back here for the weekends? Raditz looked to Bulma. If you've got the skills to make all of this out of scrap, then of course you can have the damn weekends off. Also, if you're worried about schooling for Kakarot over here, we'll provide that for her. Bulma would ask about the tales a few months after the two had become way more than just colleagues, to which he would tell her the whole story and even show her his pod. If that wasn't enough, Kaka looked up at the moon by accident at one point, and you know what happens then. However, since her father is an elite, he'd have taught her how to control herself when in grade 8 form. This is where she'd get to say,
"See? Daddy isn't lying. We are Saiyan. We are strong."
Now Kaka knows better than to do that in the middle of the West City. She was only so careless because this was a weekend and they were in the middle of the mountains. And she had invited Miss Bulma to stay with them.
My boyfriend is an alien.
That hit her hard, but in a different way. She was excited to the point of backing him up when he made towers that provided clean energy but also doubled as a scouter communications jammer. There were enough of them that the range was beyond Earth. Not even 1 year later, Bra is born into this world, and Kaka has a little sister. Bulma asked Kaka if she felt like calling her mom. Well, why wouldn't I? You're my daddy's mate, so that makes you my mommy, Kaka said with a goofy smile. Now we move forward 7 years to the start of the actual Dragon mission. When Raditz told Bulma his wish, she nodded her head at once. His wish was far nobler than hers old one was. They still have the 4-star Dragon Ball in their possession since, in this instance, it's still a keepsake of Gohan. But a different type of keepsake. On their journey for the Dragon Balls, they find a turtle in a rather odd position. I've changed a lot of Dragon Balls as is, so let's at least keep this scene to show the family's kindness. Bra grabs on the turtle, and they all fly off. You heard me right, Bulma can at least fly and defend herself from the common thug. Raditz would have taught her how to do at least that much. Turtle was much farther away than they had anticipated, and it was starting to storm really bad. Bulma, you still got the capsule house with enough rations for all of us? He shouldn't have even asked. They ride the storm out in said house. Raditz regales everyone with a tale of one of his many battles alongside the great General Nappa. The ones he was proud of, not the ones that brought him shame and add to his I'm not worthy / what have I done complex. Like I said, he found no joy in killing the weak. It made victory feel hollow. Now, since Kaka here is female in this, and Bulma is basically mom, not even basically, Bulma is her mom, the thing does not get done. And since the kids want to sleep with their parents, another thing doesn't get done either, much to the adults' perturbance. With the new day, the storm fades, and our crew begins their journey anew. They were going to leave Turtle at the ocean, but noticed that the radar was setting them that way anyway. Once again, Bra picks up Turtle, and they fly. They find Kame House and knock on the door. Roshi answers, and the crew was excited to see the 3-star Dragon Ball on his neck. Wait, Kame House? Master Roshi? Indeed I am, young man. Gohan had warned him about Roshi. I am Raditz. My daughter Kakarot and I are the last students of Son Gohan. I say students, but we were basically family.
He took me and her in when we had nowhere else to go. You may want to have a seat.
Roshi pulls out a folding chair and doesn't question him. Raditz had a serious look on his face. Roshi was utterly devastated. My boy, I am truly sorry, but the Dragon Balls won't be able to help you bring Gohan back for 2 reasons. The first, he's been dead for more than a year. The second, he died of natural causes and therefore cannot be wished back. That made the 2 sad, but they bounced back.
We still wish to gather the Dragon Balls. We've already have one in our possession, and if you'd allow it, we'd be too strong. Also, I have a favor to ask of you. Gohan never really finished our training. Would you aid us in that?
Roshi asked them to let their ki loose. I've got nothing for you short of techniques. If anything, I should let you take over the school. I've got nothing on you in terms of ki, son. Due to their training with one another, Kakarot had a power level of 3000, and Bra was at 800. Raditz, however, didn't get much in the gains department. It only had a power level of 6000. I know 6000's a big jump from 1200, but come on, guys. I said he had many a Zenkai, right? Remember, he was a mid-class elite, not a super elite. The only reason he was rolling with Nappa was his brain. That power level is ridiculous considering we're in Dragon Ball. With power levels like those, technically there aren't any threats in Dragon Ball that are going to be a problem for this crew. Maybe not until at least we get to a certain someone. Roshi takes the time to show them what little Gohan didn't, and also to name Raditz the new master of the turtle style. However, he didn't give them the Dragon Ball. Roshi is going to be Roshi. Bra is way too young, and I'm going to take a massive liberty here since I don't have an example for this short of Pan. But in some cases, females tend to develop faster than boys. Kaka is showing signs of said development, but she's still nowhere near Roshi's strike range. Say what you will about the perv, but he's not into that. However, Bulma though. Raditz noticed the look Roshi was giving the love of his life. Maybe you need a taste of my double sundae! Raditz may have the power, but Roshi hasn't beaten technique. However, this was a point blank. And I don't think even he could get out of the way in time. Alright. I get it. Take the thing. I was only joking. He was not joking. While the Peel-Off Gang is still a thing and still doing their thing, come on. Those power levels. They would continue to amass the balls, but here's the first hiccup. Bulma, Oolong, and Bra get turned into carrots. Raditz sees this as good training for Kakarot and lets her handle it. The boss confronts Kakarot and gets a ki blast to the foot via Raditz. Change them back now, or I find out how much it takes to break you. Kakarot is giving him a hard look as well. Who are these people? He does a thing. They beat him senseless, and then they throw him to the wolves. He's all yours. Needless to say, he's dead, Jim. If it seems like I'm powering through the story of Dragon Ball, I am. They meet Yamcha, and Raditz allows Bra to fight him. Now, a little girl won't set off his gynophobia, but what Kaka and Bulma are wearing just might. Kaka is wearing a number that accentuates the fact that she is indeed female. She's practically wearing Launch's outfit. However, while she does have her slight feminine traits, she's nowhere near Bulma level at this moment. Bulma is wearing the bunny suit, but only this is for a different reason. It was hers. I'll let your minds go to where they go with that. All of her other clothes were kind of ruined, so Yamcha clams up and Bra takes the chance to finish him with a Dynamite Monday.
That's my girl, all right. They tie him up, and Raditz gives him the once-over. Hey, Miss Cat, what's his deal?
You heard me right. I grew up on the dub, and in said dub, Puar was represented as female, and in this, so shall she be. I'm gonna keep true to at least a few things. I mean, I grew up on Puar is female. I'm not gonna change that.
He's terrified of women, myself excluded.
Raditz wakes him up.
You said your name was Yamcha, yeah? I have an offer for you. I am the new master of the turtle style, and I'm searching for students. I would like to take you on as my first student. I can even help you get over your little fear. Comes a little closer to Raditz. Believe it or not, that one over there is 12. In a few years, she'll be quite the beauty. But my point is, I shall not only train your body, but your mind and spirit.
Raditz noticed Yamcha's doubt, so he called Kaka over to fight with him. They beat the ever-living hell out of each other and used multiple key attacks. Yamcha is on his hands and knees and begs for tutelage. Raditz takes him in and trains him a little during their journey, but tells him that the true hell of his training shall begin when it is over. They make it to Fire Mountain and meet Chi-Chi, who is, at first, rather smitten with Yamcha, but gets a feeling like he's already spoken for.
If you're looking for something in there, then good luck.
Ox King mentions Bancho fan, and Raditz remembers seeing such a fan at Roshi's plate.
Yeah, I'm not taking my girls anywhere near that pervert.
At first he was going to do a double Sunday, but he realized he needed something with a little more oomph. He'd only done the move once, so he concentrated really hard on it. Raditz curved the blast. Like in canon, the mountain is toast, but unlike canon, we're going to say a hot spring sprouts out. Before anyone could get mad at him,
Hey, big guy, why don't you build a town around that? Hot springs can be rather lucrative, especially if it turns out to have some sort of healing properties.
which it did, by the way. Considering the fact that said water, I'm going to say, got infused with ki, and, well, the ki is going to cause, well, you get the point. Raditz tosses a bag filled with, well, quite a lot of zenny.
Consider that some starting funds. Make me a minority partner in the hot spring business. Whatever. We'll come by when it's done. Let us know. You can contact us at, well, Capsule Corporation.
Understood. Thank you.
Chi-Chi was moved by Raditz's power and would later become a good friend of Kakarot's and train under, well, Raditz. She would be a regular visitor to both the mountain range and West City. So no surprise, I'm Chi-Chi moment. Of course, due to the fact that Kaka is female and Chi-Chi don't swing that way, I don't think I even need to finish that sentence. Mommy, let's go for a swim. Bulma sighed and went for a swim with her daughter. It would be more accurate to say they went snorkeling without the snorkel. Dealing with this set of children would have changed the way she lived a bit, strengthened her in both mind and body. I mean, she's married to Raditz. Well, not married, but practically married to Raditz. Raditz had asked Bulma to marry him multiple times, but Bulma pretty much said, still waiting for that journey you promised. And you get the point. Bulma picked up a little martial arts when Raditz would teach Bra and Kaka. Raditz held on to teaching Kaka so she'd have a decent partner/rival in the form of her sister. Bra is smarter than Kaka and doesn't really bother bringing up the obvious on that, but Kaka is usually stronger than Bra. It tends to get the attention in the martial arts field, while Bra tends to get it in the scientific field. Yamcha was on stew duty and left the pot for not even a minute to drain the lizard. He would of course sanitize his hands before tending to the stew again. Now, the power levels of the Pilaf gang are stupidly low, and everyone here can sense ki. But, well, short of poor Oolong, that is. But let's be clear. Shu is a freaking ninja, so he would at least know how to be able to hide his presence. To which he does, and drugs the food with a heavy dose of sleeping medicine. It works damn near instantly, and the Pilaf gang takes the balls and readies their wish. Remember guys, this family has power levels that have no business being on Earth during Dragon Ball. So a wall isn't really going to stop them. And they know how to control the great apes, so yeah, that wouldn't stop them either. While this wish is still happening during the night, this isn't a full moon. Bulma and Bra see the dragon being summoned, and Bra grabs her mom and flies full speed. She's faster than Bulma. Way faster. Great dragon! I wish! Bulma beats him to the punch with the first thing in her head. I wish my family were benevolent Earthborn Saiyans!
That wish is barely within my power, but your wish has been granted.
Shenron vanishes and the Dragon Balls scatter. Before anyone says how, I've increased the strength of Kami and by extension Piccolo for this, so it is indeed possible. Bulma briefs. Race. Saiyan. Power level 2500. Mai shoots at Bulma, but she catches the bullet and fires a ki blast at the group. She's making a point here. Run. Due to the wording of her wish, Bulma was a natural born Saiyan, meaning so too is Bra. So her power level has increased dramatically to 1600. The gang runs with their tails between their legs. Due to this being a reality-altering wish, no one will really be surprised by this development. Okay, so time for some side effects of said wish. The Briefs family was rather weak as far as Saiyans go, and they were, like I said, well, they're eggheads, both of them. Yes, I know Mrs. Briefs is technically has been represented as a bit of an airhead, but for this, we'll change that a little bit. But back to my point, they had their tails removed. However, they gave the choice to their children. And Bulma and Tights chose to keep their tails. They told them under no circumstances were they to look at the full moon. So, poll time. Does Bulma have slight control over the Great Ape transformation due to Raditz's training? Or did she not really pay attention when Raditz was training their daughter in how to control the Great Ape? Back to the story. Bulma explains to at least Raditz what happened, and Raditz smacks Yamcha on the head. You are to do 100-meter laps back and forth for the next hour. And then I want you to give me 5,000 punches. Then spar with Kakarot until morning. Yes, sir! They would make a point to never leave their rations unattended, and to constantly monitor the ki of anything that felt sentient. Rest easy, Deadites. And remember, the night is ours.